signature. All right, you guys, let's get into these fics. We have a lot to... I hate people that try to put Malia into Teen Wolf.
I can't.
Oh my god.
Into Teen Wolf in general.
And then to make her a Hale.
They either make her a Hale or they make her Styles X like in every way. Like, whether she's a Hale or not, they will put her as close to him as possible. And I'm just like, leave her out of it.
You know what I hate? When it's like canon divergent, but they try to really push this like close relationship between Derek and Malia.
Oh my god, I know!
Like kind of like the relationship that we usually...
I'm like, that's Kira.
With, like, Cora or Laura.
Give it to Kira.
And I'm like, no.
Ugh, makes me sick. And then I'm like, they barely talked, and then all she did was insult Styles or whatever.
I do love Derek Kira bros. Not enough people do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, I love Derek and Erica as like the duo, like besties, but
yeah.
I love Kira and Derek.
I've come to like Derica. Yes, I did. Yes, Bashful. I do remember that when Styles left Malia in the woods. That was great. Oh yes, and I hate fics that put Malia with Kira. I saw one that put Malia with Cora, and I was like, how dare you? I hate when
Cora belongs to Lydia. That's it.
I just hate Malia. Period.
Oh,
keep her away.
Keep her
from
away.
Everything.
The only reason she ever needs to be in a fic is if you're going to maliciously kill her.
Yes, that is the only way that I would write her is if she gets killed off.
Yes.
Or gets like cheated on and then killed off.
Yes.
Or like alluded to like, oh, a coyote was found dead in the wood.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to mention that it was Malia, but like, if you know me and you read that there was a coyote found dead, you know who that was.
Yeah.
And that's just it.
Here for it. Some sweet person on the server, she posted this link and it had Shelly in the preview, and I was like, I've gone 3 weeks without seeing Shelly Hiddick's face. Now I gotta reset my counter. And like, I was going on. And she was like, oh, it was just a preview. I didn't mean to. Da-da-da. And I was like, oh, you're pretty new, so I should probably tell you. But I have an undeniable, unrelenting, and I'm not sorry about it, hatred for Malia Stilia and Shelly Hennig, and I will not abide her nonsense on the server. And I was like, and you can hate it if you want to, but you can hate it somewhere else. I was like, I don't care. And I don't care how you feel about it. You know, just like, no, I'm not doing this with you. And I love when people get in the inbox like, why don't you like Malia? And I'm like, why do you? And you go and think about that.
What was there to get like emotionally attached to as a character in the first place? Like, nothing.
They love that.
Like, even if you wanted to like Malia, like, what was there to grab onto?
She was a white girl. They wanted another white girl. That they wanted someone who wasn't Lydia. Allison had died, and they needed another white girl to ship Styles with.
And they wanted the not like other girls.
Yes.
Mean, just like messy, that hair, yikes. Just running around, driving her Toyota, wearing cowboy boots, hitting her boyfriend, and it's like...
And no, the reason we know that it's...
embracing her insecurities instead.
The reason that we know that it's true is that they took that girl and they put every negative trait on her and still got people to act like they stan her. And act like they love her and that she is the best thing. And I'm like, she's a terrible character. And that's a terrible relationship.
I will never, ever forget, like, the hiatus between 3B and 4.
Yes.
Where, like, every interview with every cast member was just like, who's your favorite cast member? Oh, it's Shelly.
Yes,
Who's the funniest? Oh, it's Shelly. She's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hate you all so much. And that was when I was really, really mad at the show.
Yes.
So I was like, you're making me so mad. I hate you all.
Angry. I was like, so angered.
I don't even
And then because they asked, because this was before they knew that they were going to do Stydia. And so they were really trying to pump up Stilia, and then they got to Dylan. And they were like, "Oh, what do you feel about Stilia?" And he was like, "Oh, it's really sweet. You know, they're really sweet.
they're sweet.
They're sweet." And he just kind of kept repeating "sweet and sweet and sweet." And I was like, "Okay, you can stop now." And he just kept repeating it. Ever since then, you can tell how people really feel about Stilia, because you say he's really, every soundbite that they use is exactly what Dylan said. So they're like, "Oh yeah, she's sweet. Oh yeah, they really love each other. Oh yeah, they're mates." And you're like, "Well, why are they mates?" "Well, she's really sweet." "How are they sweet?" "Well, they really love each other." Why do they love each other?" "Well, they're sweet." You know, it's like, no, they're trash. They're absolute trash. And this is the worst relationship in all of America. Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing, is that they don't hate her for having sex with Styles, which cracks me up too. I don't understand how that works exactly.
I was living for Crystal's reactions to
Oh,
Shelley.
that was so good.
During that
Paley Fest.
what was
Paley,
yeah,
baby.
Paley Fest.
That was so good. Hold on, I'm gonna get a refill. Keep talking about how terrible Shelley is.
Like, I mean, it was like they got there and Crystal was just like, "Really? This is what you're replacing me with?"
I don't
like. I'm leaving a trash show, and then you think this is a good person to carry over what I brought to this show? Like, really?
Which is so weird, because I don't even understand. Like, I still don't know if Shelley was specifically brought onto the show to replace Crystal. Because, like, it was announced early on that she was going to die, right? Like, wasn't it advertised, like, the whole series was like, oh, somebody's going to die? And it's like, well, we know who's leaving, so we know who's going to die.
She was definitely brought on because Crystal was leaving. I don't think she was meant as a replacement for Crystal, but I also think that her character was... I think Crystal leaving is the reason that her character got extended. Because, and Philip still doesn't subscribe to the Malia as villain model, but I think another point in my favor to Malia being villain... Hold on, Philip, are you here? What happened?
No, I do. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I think another point...
No, and I do buy into the Malia as villain. I don't buy into the Craven Rose.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
As a whole.
Was there was a whole thing about the yellow dress promo, which I had forgotten to mention last time. Do you guys remember that?
I have tried to search for that, and
I have it.
Find it.
I have it. It's on the blog, and I think I even have it tagged yellow dress promo, because I was like, I will never lose this again. I even have it like in my receipts folder on my computer, because I was like, oh no, we are doing this. That yellow dress promo, nobody else got that. She got a soap opera-esque banging out of the jail cell in a sparkle, like a yellow flowing dress, hair all out. And I'm like, ooh, girl, they were really about to do this for you. Can you imagine? What were they thinking? Well, clearly they weren't.
The contract. I want to hear Jeff speak without lies, if that's possible.
I'm about to say, I don't know. That might be asking a lot, homie.
Because I feel like even he hates Shelley, because I feel like she had to come onto the show and do something.
Oh, God, the best thing ever. I remember, so, Dylan used to do all the ad-libbing, and he used to be pretty much the only one that could ad-lib. And I remember during that season, it was either the season 5 or the season 6 blooper reel. She did something, she was like... Jeff said, I'm the only one who can ad-lib. I'm the only one who could ad-lib. She said, no one else could ad-lib, just you. And I was like, oh my God, I hate you. And people wonder why I hate her. And I was like, this is why. And
I just block all of this out so I can continue to enjoy the trash that was the Secret Circle.
Yeah.
Plus, like, all of the, like, gag reels post, like, 3A were just not even, like, real. Like, they were all staged and 3B like, didn't so even fake.
Have one. Yeah, 3B didn't even have one. Oh, God. I will say, the only people that I give a pass to, and it's mostly because of Phoebe Tonkin, but the only people I give a pass to are Secret Circle stans. People who stand for Secret Circle, they love them some Shelley. Sometimes some Days of Our Lives stands, just because they got Shelley when she was super young and untainted. And I'm like, okay, I
never watched any of these shows, and I will never, ever watch.
Phoebe Tonkin is everything on this show.
I love Phoebe Tonkin. Love her.
I can't get past Shelley. If I see her ever again in like any show, I'm gonna be so mad.
I want
but
Phoebe
the
Tonkin.
nice thing in the Secret Circle is that you're kind of supposed to find Shelley's character a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
So it helps.
Well, she just has that face.
And she was so pretty on that show. She lost the weight and cut the hair.
That weight loss
like
was
a suburban mom.
Ugh, it was rough, and I hated
what
that they
to that show that she's supposed to be doing with what's that actress from Scandal, the white president's wife?
Yeah, I don't know. But Bellamy something or the other. I like her though.
No.
Okay, so there is a author. Her name is namelock_AR_115. She, now this is why we're talking about Shelley. So, she has this series called the Century series. Unfortunately, this girl loves her some Malia. I will say all her works are steric, and but she likes to, there's not very much Malia, and she always puts it in the past, but Styles would just kind of mention her out of nowhere, like, oh, you know, I've only had sex with, like, one Omega, and it was this girl named Malia, and it's like, I hate you! You know? So, then I'm like, but it's in the middle of, like, a boy pussy Derek fic, and so I'm like,
oh my God.
I know, right? So then I'm like, gotta weigh it out. You know, like, what do I want more? And so, I will say, okay, so yeah, I was on this tear.
Wait, so does Derek, like, he just has the boy pussy, or is it like something that makes it appear?
No, he has it.
Oh.
And he's a king, but he's still very manly. He has all his manly stuff. He just happens to be like an Omega or whatever. He's an Omega. And he's trying to find a husband, and he was always at war, and so he's a little bit older, and because he's been fighting for so long. And
so this is like Derek without dick, or like he has it too?
No, it's without dick, so it's just boy pussy.
Wow.
But no, it's fantastic. It is so
I've never
good.
read a fic like that with Derek.
I know, and that's why I was like, that's why I was kind of looking it out.
I did read one. It was Sheriff, Derek, and Styles.
Ooh.
And it was deeply disturbing.
Wait, who had the pussy?
I couldn't do it. Styles and Derek both had one.
What? Oh.
Oh no.
Ooh.
And the sheriff was gross.
What?
No.
Wait, was it the one where the sheriff was like a slave master and he had a bunch of people in his house?
No.
Okay.
It's a different, like, it's just like Derek walks in and peeks like sheriff, like, doing his son. And he's like turned on. And so the sheriff, like, oh, what are you doing? Like, you know, come in. Why don't you have? And then he notices like the leaking in the front of Derek's pants.
Oh my
God!
God!
Specific shape, and it's just like, oh.
I need to find that one. You need to send that to me if you remember.
Yeah, I'll find it.
I might have seen it.
Honestly, it was a Scarrick who sent it to me, and I was just like, what is like? I was like, there's no Scott in this. I was like, this is really weird. I was like, oh, okay.
I never, there just aren't that many Boy Pussy Derek ones. There's not a lot of bottom Derek's, or Omega Derek. Like Omega Derek or Boy Pussy Derek.
I love Omega Derek.
Yeah, and so I was on a tear and I was just looking for a bunch of them. And so I found this Centuries fic and I was like, ooh, this is it. Oh, well, first I saw the Boy Pussy Styles one, which is fantastic in this one. In this set, too. But the Boy Pussy Derek one, oh, it's so great. Oh, yeah, so he's courting, and he's trying to find a husband, and Styles doesn't think that he's going to be chosen. Each of the men has to give a gift, and he tries to give his puppy that he loves, and as soon as he gives the puppy just starts barking and going crazy, and He's really sad. I know, Styles is so sad, but he's like, you know, you're the kings now, and da-da-da-da-da. And so then Styles starts to leave, and the king's like, whose animal is this? And Styles is like, it's mine. He's like, come get your dog. And the Styles is like, oh no, you know, I've offended the king. He doesn't want my gift. And then Derek was like, you know, come join us for dinner. And Styles was like, what? So it's super cute. But, that scene, woo, yes, ma'am, it was great. So check out, which one is it? Is it spoiled? Y'all see it. It's great.
We'll make a list.
It wasn't spoiled. It was Malia Hale. How dare you? Some of these you just gotta not read. But you'll know. Prized. Oh my god. It was so good, you guys. And then, he was so fine.
Okay, so I'm not sucking up, you guys, but this is the first thing on my bookmarks list.
Uh-huh.
Because I started using it because I never used it. You gotta read One Up by FiccinDylan, or, you know.
Oh my god!
Because that fic is a journey.
It's so much fun.
So much filth. And, like, the game of chicken in this, like, they really go for it.
I loved it. So
how did you write this so quickly?
I was in a chat. I'm in a chat. So a few years ago, we had a summer challenge for Steric. And it always cracks me up when people are like, oh, I don't really think that Steric's active anymore. Steric isn't really a thing. And I'm like, we still have challenges. We still have all this stuff. Of course we're active. And then she's like, well, I only really participate here. And I'm like, then why are you talking? Like, why do you have any part of this conversation?
And there's always one of those well-meaning ex-Sterics that, like, say shit like that. And I'm like, shut up.
Exactly. Like, shut up. You have no idea what you're talking about. But, so yeah, so we were in this thing called Foxy Steric Trash. And so we had this group chat. And we've just kind of all stayed in this group chat for years at this point. And so we were all talking about something, and she found that picture, the first picture that's in the first chapter. And she was like, yeah, doesn't that kind of look like Styles on Derek's couch? And I was like, it does. And then I said, and her birthday was coming up, and I was like, what if? And then it just sprang from there. It was so good. I absolutely loved doing that fic, and she loved it too. But that fic is everything. It's so much fun. It was so much fun to write.
This picture is everything.
I love it. That sack. And then and it was a lot of fun because I just started adding a bunch of pictures from the internet. And then halfway through, I remembered that I had a porn blog on Tumblr. I had forgotten. And then I was like, oh yeah, I could add stuff from there too. I wonder if those pictures still work. I gotta find out. Oh, good times. Cole, you got a rec? We're gonna go round robin.
Let me, see. There was one that just got updated. I didn't really like the second chapter, but the first chapter... Okay, so this is the thing. Mm-hmm. It is a cheating Derek.
Oh, no!
But,
wait,
Derek
cheating on Styles or cheating what? What?
He cheats on Styles with, a therapist dude.
Oh, no!
And I think it might be written by, an auntie or something.
Why do you
love it.
Fics?
I love it so much.
Tell us.
And I, loved to comment. I was like, you need to update this. And then, there's a second chapter, but, I wasn't really feeling the second chapter. But it's still, there's going to be a continuation. I have to figure out where it is.
Explain yourself.
I was just going through fics, because, I don't really read fics all that much anymore. Mm-hmm. I focus mainly on, writing, which, takes forever, and I procrastinate and, never finish anything. Mm-hmm. But every once in a while, I'll go onto AO3, and I'll, search through, what new fics are coming out. Uh-huh. And it was there, and I was like, let me read it. So then I read it, and I was like, this is really good. It's, dark.
Oh, my God.
And, kind of twisted. Let me try to find it.
Look in your
history. I can't remember the name.
It should be in your history.
Here in like, because I download all the fics that I want to read onto this app. Ooh. So that I can like read it back.
What app do you use?
It's called Shoebook.
Oh, okay. I like hearing about those.
Yeah, you go, like, you use the app and you go to, like, AO3 through the app, and then you can download, like, the EPUB file and, like, read it as, like, a book.
Like an ebook? Shoebox.
Yeah, I just, like, I use iPhone and iPad exclusively, so I just, I click the EPUB button, and, like, I have everything in my iBooks, like, backed up to the iCloud, and it is a lifesaver. But I also use Calibre to, like,
I can't
back everything up so I can get tags.
I can't ever, see, this says that is it like a photo thing?
No, it's shoe, so, like, SHU.
Okay.
Book. But it's all together. And then, like, you have to pay for, like, the good one without, like, a bunch of stupid ads.
And
stuff. But that one's called 2M. So it's like Shoebook 2M. Did you find it?
Yes, I found it. I can't organize enough to do Calibre. There's so much that I just will not do to make it actually efficient. There's a plugin that just
does it all for you.
That's what. Ugh.
So easy.
Okay. I might.
But like, I don't use it to read from. I just use it to back up, so that, like, when you tell me to back up stuff, I use that to just pull it all at once.
So, my next one is...
oh, wait, I got it. I got the name. Okay, so it's called In Good Hands by always _ Derek. And read the tags before you read it, because it's not for everybody.
Why is
always bottom Derek?
Yes.
Why is he,
almost everything they write is just, like, it's so wrong, but it's so good.
Some of them are kind of like, no, but this one in particular was good. There was another one that I read, but I can't remember which one it was. Okay. I don't think I saved that one.
For those of you looking for, like, really, like, dark, bad wrong, and you don't, but you don't like it with, like, Sarek, which I usually don't. But, like, HurtStiles has some great...
Oh, yeah, like, HurtStiles is wild.
Has some great steofic. And the one that I'm thinking of is... What is it? Get Off. No, that's not that one. It's super long. Where's that? Oh, How Do You Want Me? I heard Styles is, like, basically Styles gets captured by Theo, and, like, Theo is just, like, torturing the hell out of him, like, taking him with, like, no lube, like, it's bad. He's basically brainwashing Styles while this is going on. But, spoiler, Styles turns the tables.
Oh.
Like, I can't deal with fics that have, like, pain or, like,
really?
Like, gruesome, like, violence or, like, abuse. Like, I can't really handle it.
I don't think you'd like it.
I love it.
It's so wrong. I remember reading this, and I'm like, why am I reading this? But it was so good.
I can't deal...
Theo lends himself to that kind of stuff.
See, I can't deal with anything that's irreversible. If it can't be undone, then I'm like, okay, like, so I can't deal with, like, losing limbs, losing eye, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, none of that.
But otherwise, I'm pretty good. I just got done reading. There's one, God bless him. This fic was 40,000 words. And it was a whip. And in the notes, it said, there is no smut or sexual activity in this story. And I was like, skip! And then something said, scroll back up and look at it again. And so I scrolled back up and I looked at it again. And it is called I'm gonna find it. Ooh, and then we're gonna talk about that one too. It's called Bastard by Jewelz. It's wild. So the Hales, so Peter Hale gets into a car accident. And he gets put into a coma. The Hales go to his house. Does he get put into a coma or does he dies. The Hales go to clean out his apartment. They've been estranged for years. They go to his apartment to clean it out, and they're talking all this trash, and then they notice that he has an Omega there. And that Omega happens to be Styles, who is pregnant and is extremely Stockholmed.
Oh no.
And not only is he Stockholm, but they find out that the Styles is the kidnapped sheriff's boy who had been kidnapped 8 years ago.
Oh my god.
I can't.
It's great. It is great. Oh, it's so good. Because this is one of those like Derek healing fics. And so like Styles just, it's just that stuff where he's like, are you hungry? Like he learns like how to just live again. And Derek needs to learn how to take care of him because he thinks he's trash. And Derek is like, you're an adult. You can do what you want. And then Styles is like, can I have my chair? Like his idea of fun is like sitting in his chair on his hands, and he's used to only eating scraps. Peter treated him like trash. It was, it's so good. And so, yeah, that fic is my bliss. And so now it's great.
Are we sticking to smut?
Oh, we can do whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guys, you need to read Anthracite. I know a lot of you are, like, intimidated by the fact that it's 106,000 words.
Yeah.
But it is a must-read. It literally tears down everything that's, like, wrong with Scott in this fic. Like, it all makes sense when you read it like
Is it a rewrite? Like, what's it about? Give us a quick summary.
McCall Pat comes back to find out that Scott's not a real true alpha.
Oh no! Wow.
Figure out why, and why it's becoming apparent that he's not a true alpha, and it's like, yes, you finally feel vindicated.
That's great.
But,
here, I'm looking it up real quick.
You guys need to read it.
There we go. By Inkandblade, right?
Yeah.
LupusScintilla.
Yeah, LupusScintilla.
Okay.
And then while we're on that topic, I know a lot of y'all don't like Theo, or like just don't read it very often, but you need to go look up Pandora, Pan_Dora.
Wait, Theo or Skio?
Steo. S-T.
Styles and Theo. She tears down every complaint that we've had against Scott and works it into the script. Works it into the story in like this seamless way. And she was originally a Steric. So it's still very respectful of Derek. You can read this as a Steric and you don't feel like, oh, my ship's being disrespected, because he's hardly there, and when he's mentioned, it's in a very positive way.
Yes. Tori Marie, Bastard isn't for you, but I do have a good one for you. Because I was on a Stockholm Styles trip after that, and then I found a great Hale Sandwich one. I man, when I tell you, I jumped back into fic hard. Cole, you got another one?
Let me see.
Oh, that's the other one I'm gonna look up. Okay.
Okay, so there's this one by Halcyon.
Yes, we have a whole section about her. So okay, go ahead.
Oh, should I wait?
No, go ahead. We can do it now. That's fine.
Okay, so in plain sight, it is a Styles Derek Peter, and Styles creates like this spell or whatever.
Oh
that,
my
god! It like allows them to like have sex in public, but like nobody like
so
will recognize it. Like everybody will just like see them as like being completely normal. And they go to this restaurant.
Oh my god.
And like they're getting served dessert, but like at the same time they're doing all these crazy things on this table.
Oh my
god.
And
it is hilarious and amazing.
No, not only that, but when they get to the restaurant, like the first thing Peter does is like take off his clothes immediately. Before they even like check to make sure that no one can see him. He's like
he's
out.
The one who like proves that like she's like giving, like she's asking them for like their order, and he just like pulls off his shirt, and then they're all looking around to like see if anybody will react, and the lady's just like, this is completely normal.
Yes, and some guy like he like waves to some guy across the room, and the guy's like, "Hello." Just like it's so good, you guys. Halcyon has a plethora of fics, and then so I read a bunch of them like in a row, and once you read a bunch of them in a row, you kind of see what her kind of kinks are, and so it's like, okay, you're gonna get some Xeno. You're gonna get, Derek's gonna have an 8 or 9 inch cock no matter what. Styles, if he's an Omega, is gonna have a sweet, small Omega cock. And there's gonna be, oh god, it's gonna be like Styles, everything. It's hilarious. There's gonna be praise kink, there's, oh god, the pregnancy kink, everything. I love that she just goes there with her fics. I read Not Your Typical Alpha. That was one where Derek was alpha, but all he wanted was to really hang off an alpha's knot. And then Styles, so he had been stretching himself on like the biggest dildo he could find, the biggest knotting dildo he could find. And then he found like this super deluxe model, and he tried to have it delivered. But he waited all day and it never came, and he got so pissy. And he was just like, I just want my dildo. And so then all of a sudden there was a knock at the door, and of course it's Styles, and he's holding the package and it's been opened because he just saw that, you know, it had his number, and I guess it was just kind of backwards. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was for me, and I just started opening it. And he was like, oh, so you saw inside. And at this point, Derek's so upset that he didn't get it that he's not even like embarrassed. He's just like, whatever, just give my package. And he's like, okay, well, you know. And then Styles is like, well, there's no way, you can't possibly like fit that thing. And he's like, oh, I can. And then Styles is like, really? And Eric's like, you want to see? And then of course it just goes from there, and it's everything. Her fics are fantastic. They're great if you just want some nasty, some good old nasty.
There's so many.
I don't think I've ever read any of their other ones.
Yeah, neither.
Now I have to go look and see.
They're
what
really
else
good.
do.
And she
Ooh,
does
Derek's
really
puppy.
Yeah, she does a really good job. I love the incest ones. There's something about steric incest. So, Dirtcore Dreams. Dirtcore Dreams is actually a friend of mine. He has a magnificent way with words. And he wrote me this fic that was like, oh god, it's so kinky. But like in real life, of course, incest is terrible. We all know this. But there's something about it in fic where I'm just like, okay, I understand this. And they had one where, and it's always like, they had one where like, I can't remember if this was Dirtcore or if this was Halcyon, but it was, Derek was Styles' dad, and Derek was an Omega, but Styles ended up being an Alpha.
Whoa.
I might be mixing fics, but I think Styles came back, and then Derek was like, I never...
Wait, I think I read that one. Is it the one where, like, Derek is divorced?
Yes!
And then Styles comes back from college?
Yes!
Yes, I think I read that one.
It was so good! I was just like,
I need to read that one.
Right? I think it's in here. It's one of these people's... Oh, so good. But, I just love just everything. It's so good. here. Said Sleeping Beauty to the Big Bad Wolf. Is this the one I'm looking for?
You know, I've never been able to find that one. The one where Derek just kind of like breaks into Styles' room and has his way with him while he's asleep.
What?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Almost,
that's under the somnophilia
one. There's like two that we found last time we did
Yeah.
Dark Fic that were close, but it wasn't the
but
exact
not
one.
quite. BJ.
Guys, whoever's listening to this and you're an author, please orphan your fics if you're going to disappear.
Yes, orphan
Or
the
just-
fics.
Or just get a new username, because this deleting fic stuff it really hurts.
Is for the birds. This is another bad bad Peter one. I apologize, but this one broke my soul. It was so good. It's called Said Sleeping Beauty to the Big Bad Wolf. It's Whispering Sue Meyer. So Styles is an empath, and he got it from his mom, who died, of course, and he can't really control it, and he meets up with Peter, who helps him learn to control it through pain. But Peter is just really kind of messed up in and of himself. And so then this is the one where Peter gets into the car accident. And so then when Peter is in the coma, that is when they find out that Derek and Styles are true mates. And there's some dom-sub elements to it. And Derek puts Styles under. And then when he comes back, he's like, is that what it's supposed to be like? And I'm like, oh my God, you wasted all of these years. But it's so good. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. I'm looking for one in particular. It was a good Peter one. Green wrote one that was kind of spectacular. It was really kind of bittersweet and sad, though. Styles and Derek... Styles and Derek were about to get married. But they hadn't bonded yet because Styles wanted to wait until he got done with college. And then he gets kidnapped, and along with Peter. And it's right before his heat. So then, he went into heat and then ended up bonding with Peter. And he ends up falling in love with Peter. And so then he comes back and he's like, but I want both of y'all. And, it was wild.
So, during the Phantom Cares event, I won a fic, and so I'd given Firebull a prompt, and she wrote it for me, and it's called Together Again. When Scott pushed Styles out of the pack, he unwittingly unleashes the Nagitsune once more. Not that it lets him live long enough to tell anyone about it. Too bad, really, because it has plans for a certain werewolf currently living in Mexico. So basically, Scott kicking Styles out of the pack unleashes the part of the Nagitsune that was in Styles the whole time, and shit happened.
That was so funny.
Did you read it?
Yeah, I read that one, and I was dying. I was like, this is wild.
I mean, the little baby kits and everything. It satisfied beyond my imagination.
Oh my God. Cole, you got one?
Yeah, so I've been on, the hunt for Papa Hale fics.
Oh.
I just wrote a fic with Papa Hale because I was like, I need more fics with this character.
Oh, okay, yes, go ahead.
But there was this one, it's by Inell or Linnell.
Yeah, I know Inell.
Called Family Tradition. And it's Derek Styles and Papa Hale.
Yeah.
And, the whole thing is, Derek wants to marry Styles or whatever, but in order it's pack tradition, so he has Papa Hill has to make sure that Styles is good enough for Derek, and has to try Styles out, and it's amazing.
It's so good. Who do you imagine for your Papa Hale?
Well, it's either Joe Manganiello. Is that how you pronounce his last name? Yeah. Or David Gandy, who was he's a model, and he was the inspiration for the Papa Hale fic that I recently wrote. but like they don't really look similar, but they have like Hale features, I would say. So like dark hair and like beards and eyes that are like very judgy.
I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Gemma Ganella. I like making him like an uncle because he seems a little young for Papa Hale, but I do like Jeffrey Dean, and then the guy who played the dad the first season of American Horror Story. I'm so mad I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, Dylan McDermott.
Yeah. Oh, I like him. Let's see. I'm trying to find... Oh, there's Chastity by Uduni. Uduni, she's so funny. She's the one who wrote the Room 27 series. Do you remember this series where Styles goes and Deedon like puts eggs in him? He does.
No. What? Okay.
Explain that.
I don't even read Styles DM fics. But then it just went all crazy after that.
It was so good. And then, because Styles just wanted to let go. And then Deedon made him drink all this water, and then he shoved like a bunch of eggs into his butt. And he was like, don't crack them. Or they were like, I think they were hard-boiled eggs, but he deshelled them, and then he like stuffed them in him, and then he made them pass, but Styles kept getting horny. It was great. But he wrote one called Chastity, and he was like just a sex slave, basically. He had like a plug that was like a rabbit tail, and a little apron, and so then all the Hale family, it was for all of the Hale family. And so Papa Hale was like, oh, I got you guys a present. And so he would cook and clean, and then Derek would have him like bent over the couch. And Cora was like, he's hogging him, Dad, he's hogging him. And he was like, stop hogging him, Derek. And he was like, no, I've only nodded him once today. And then the dad was like, he's pretty sure that Derek nodded him more than once, especially given how loose he was this morning. And then he was it was great. And then he was like, Derek, come on, you gotta use your head. He was like, so he like pulled Derek off, and then he turned Styles and like put him on the couch, and he's like, there, Derek, you can continue nodding him, and then Cora, you can sit on his face. It was just so good. I was like, this is amazing. And Udini is wild. Anyway, she just loves to kind of like torture. I don't know if I can torture Styles within boundaries, but there's just something about it. Styles has a crush on... Ooh, yes. I've read that one too, Ms. Ixie. She said there's one where Styles in high school and had a class with an older Derek, and they're partners for a project. Styles has a crush on Derek. He uses that to get Styles to do most of the work, ditches Styles at the house, and Papa Hill finds him and things happen. I remember that one. I also...
There was a really old fic where Styles hooked up with... Scott's dad.
Yes!
This was like in 2012.
That was Starts with F. And that was a crazy fic. Starts with F.
No, it wasn't that one. It was, because it was before Matthew was cast as Scott's father.
Oh. And
it was fan cast as Joe Manganiello being Scott's father.
Really? Oh my god.
And like, his dad was like this mechanic, and Styles went in to like get his Jeep fixed or whatever. And then he ended up like hooking up with Scott's dad, and it was so amazing. But it got deleted like a long time ago. But fandom in 2012 was crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure they were just going wild. What do you got, Philip?
There's, I don't know if I got this from you guys or not. It's X Lost Dreams X Ruin Me, Take Me Down.
Yes. I love that.
The college-age babysitter Derek and high school Styles, and it just first it starts out like super just filthy, and like you get all that angsty feeling because like how far are they gonna go?
Right.
Then it turns real, and then it gets like, but then it goes back to being smutty, and it's everything.
It's so good. I love that one. Oh, I got a rec. I usually don't do RPF, but one of our own wrote this, and he wrote it for me. And then we're going to come to you, Cole, but I just saw this in my thing, and I have to rec this one. It's called Not Gay, but Guy on Guy. and
Is it a heckling fic?
Yes! But
oh my god.
But when you guys read it, it is amazing. I was reading it, and there's literally one portion of it where I was like, yes! Da-da-da-da! And then literally those were like the next words. And I was like, yes! I was like, this fic understands me. Everyone needs to read this fic. It is one. And like I said, I usually don't do RPF, and I'm trying to convince him to do the Styles, or the Dylan sequel, but he was like, yeah, that'll be done in 2020. And I was like, I will wait for it. I love it. Ooh, hold on. She said, Ms. Ixie said, I read one where Claudia was an Omega, but didn't have normal heats. So Sheriff Stilinski was enough. Styles is an Omega too. And because of legal papers, Sheriff Stilinski has to give up his son to the Hale Pack. And they just use him thinking it's normal because Styles is an Omega too. And the pack are doing what Omega needs. Only Styles is more like his mom and hates it. Oh no. Talia thinks getting him pregnant is the answer. Oh no, Miss Ixie!
What is happening?
How dare you? No, do not become a BBS. No killing Styles. Don't make me delete this. Don't make me put you both in the corner. Why do people write stuff like that? You always go too far. I shouldn't have even read that. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna edit it out. Of course you did, baby. Thanks, Derek. You probably wrote it. Yeah, I'm salking at you. Okay, go ahead, Cole.
There was one fic, and it's actually from 2012, but I just, like, refound it, like...
Yeah, those are...
a while, like, a couple months ago, I refound it. It's called Professional Misconduct.
Yes!
Yeah. It is amazing, okay? Derek is like, a masseuse,
mm-hmm.
and Styles goes in, and basically what you think happens is exactly what happens, and it's amazing.
My favorite part of that is when Styles is just like, I guess this is happening, so... And Derek's finger is, like, just resting on his hole. And Styles just kind of, like, he bucks up his hips, like, are we doing this? Like, are we doing this? And Derek just has oil everywhere. Oh, my God. But then when he picks Styles up, and Styles is like, oh, my God. And he actually, like, sees himself in the mirror, and he sees, like, Derek's buttocks clenching. He's like, this is real. This is real. Like, oh. That fic was amazing. Ugh. I love it, love it, love it. Yes, Ruby. She was like, I'm loving these recs. Let's see. I gotta read this Trucker's verse. We'll see. Let's see. We'll come back to that one.
Oh, there's a few here.
Yep,
These are going to get really, like, non-steric for a little bit.
Okay.
There's The Man That Ruined Him by Kestra Troy. It's a Raphael Scott McCall fic.
Oh, yeah, I know Kestra Troy.
It's really dark, really twisted. Content warning for, I mean, what it technically amounts to rape. It's dark. This is the one where he calls him baby girl or something like that. Yeah, I mean, basically, Raphael is like, makes Scott his bitch. She calls him baby girl, calls him good girl. I think he makes him wear panties at some point, and it's extremely good. Oh, Daddy Wanted a Bad Word is the name of the series. I mean, it's terrible. But y'all know I like to see Scott suffer, so I didn't care.
My favorite feminized Styles fic is when Derek kidnaps Styles, and it's a dark fic, and he's just like, I'm gonna be, you're gonna be like my wife, like you're my mate, and I'm about that gay life, so you're gonna be my wife. And Styles is like, but I'm a dude, and Derek's like, no, you ain't. And so he basically just like shaves him up and starts giving him all these hormones and just all this other stuff. And that's the one I'll never forget, when they finally do allow him to see Sheriff and Scott. And Sheriff is like, what have they done to you? And then Styles looks down. He has like his little lavender sweater on, and his hair is all grown out, and he has like his little baby, and he's just like, oh, like, oh, do I look weird? Like Styles, oh my God. And then he just like, oh, it's wild. It's harrowing, but I can't stop reading it. Another one is by Giggle Bang Snort Dead. I always recommend it every time. It's Peter and Styles. Styles is crazy. Peter is like a mafia person. Derek is an FBI agent who is in love with Styles, but again, Styles is crazy. And they're both serial killers, and they run up and down the coast wreaking havoc. They kidnap this pregnant woman because Styles really wanted a baby. And halfway through, she like kills herself, and Styles is like, oh my God, why did she want to give me her baby? And he was just, oh, it's so good. So I was just like, this is wild. So yeah, it's great.
Okay, now, ordinarily, I usually hate pack fic now because I can't stand Scott. And usually when they do pack fic, they do this very, like, everyone's very deferential to Scott. Like,
really? See, I don't get that a lot, especially in Steric fic. I don't see that a lot. Because usually Derek's the alpha.
I feel like Steric is used to, like, tie people into these other, like, sexual encounters that I just don't care for.
Yeah.
But this one's different. And it's totally, like, this is not Solani, so, like, I mean,
oh my God, that Solani is great!
Okay, but I have a fic from them that I was going to talk about.
Is it Naked in School?
It's so crazy, and I was like,
is it the Naked in School fic?
Is it the invisible boy everyone saw?
Huh?
No.
Okay, so Corey, stop pretending y'all don't know who he is. You know who Corey is.
Who?
He can turn himself... Oh, y'all are terrible. He can turn himself invisible, and there's something that was going on, like some kind of mind control thing, that the boyfriend who dies in the beginning, and he like set up cameras everywhere to record him, and the pack finds them, and they all kind of start taking their turns with Corey.
Oh
no! And it is everything, because Corey is just like loving it.
Oh my God!
Like no one is forgotten so far. I think the only one who's not a part of this is... I don't think Derek is present, but, like, it's everything.
That's hilarious.
And, like, I think Corey is, like, dating Mason, but, like, all this is happening behind Mason's back.
Oh,
no! And it's, like... But, like, Mason's, like, completely oblivious to it, and it's wonderful. Which one were you talking about, Cole?
Okay, so it's called Sometimes They Cheat.
Yeah.
It is the craziest fic that I have read in, like, months, okay? And, like, it's Liam, Derek.
Oh, my God.
But, like, it's only the first chapter. Like, it's going to be continued, I guess. But, like, Liam has this, like, tablet or whatever. And, like, for some reason, the tablet controls Derek. So, like, he's clicking all these different dials to make, like, Derek, like, super horny and stuff. Like, in the middle of, like, this pack meeting. And everybody's like, oh, dude, I can smell that. What's up with you? And they all, like, leave. But then Liam, like, fixes the controls on the tablet to make himself invisible so that he remains in the loft.
Oh.
And he turns Derek's dial from being a top to a super needy bottom. And he goes through these memory files of all these gifts that Derek had. A gag gift that Styles gave him was this giant dildo.
Oh my god.
And he makes Derek ride the dildo. And then there's this break or whatever, and Derek gets off and he goes he opens the window or whatever. He looks out the window, and when he comes back to get on the dildo, Liam makes it so that instead of getting on the dildo, he gets on himself. So he gets on Liam and still thinks that it's the dildo. And it's amazing. It is so crazy. I'm this is so wild. I can't believe I didn't come up with this crazy idea. It is so beyond, but it's amazing. I'm I can't wait to see what happens next because it's so crazy. I just want more. But it's enjoyable. It's not bad.
No, I know, just not slimy.
The thing with his fics is that a lot of them are commissioned, and whoever commissioned the fic has to commission the continuation.
Oh.
But I know, actually, I'll ask, because I know someone who commissions a lot of his mind control fics, so I'm going to see if they're the one who commissioned that one, too.
That's wild. I usually don't like fic commissioning, but I do, I think it's interesting when they can actually, get away with it.
Well, it's because, and he really writes whatever.
Yeah.
As long as it's within his wheelhouse, he writes whatever you want, and it's just, and he'll do, the most randomest pairings that, really won't draw that much attention. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's worth it.
It's so funny. The reason I found him at all was because of his Naked in School series, and it was, some crazy punishment where they had to go around being naked in school, and then everybody was just banging him all through school, and I was
wait, who? Styles?
No, not Slonny. It was Scott and Styles, and then they had to go to different classes, and it was just none of it made sense. And I think this was at the beginning of kind of my fic reading, so I was just oh, I'm scandalized. Yeah, and then I was and now I'm just oh, whatever. One of my favorite fics is the one where Styles is the new kid in school and he has giant breasts for some reason. And then Derek just keeps, everyone is boning him and they think that it's a problem, but he's no, this is Tuesday for me. And it's just it's great. Let's see. Sticking a clip. There was one I linked one in the chat. It's called How to Be a Teenager. It's actually a very sweet one. Styles came out as gay to Scott, and and it turns out he has a very big crush on Scott, and he's just trying to get by. He's not very popular, but of course Allison came into town, and Scott's kind of ditching him for Allison and everything, and so he's feeling less and less connected, and so he calls his girls at the Jungle. And they're why don't you let us do your makeup? Why don't you let us, do all this other crap for you? And so he goes out one night and he calls himself Blue. And they're oh, why Blue? And he's because Blue's pretty. And it's very sweet. And one day he sees the most popular boy in school, who's Derek, also at the club. And he's yeah, my sisters made me come out. And he's oh, do you want to get dressed too? And so then, they're both dressing and they're dancing and they're having a good time. But he doesn't reveal that he's Styles. He's just I'm Blue and blah, blah, blah. And so when they get back to school the next day, Derek just doesn't pay him any attention. Although we as the reader know that Derek is paying him attention, but he himself is why would he ever pay attention to me? Da, 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 da. So then he tries to tell Scott, that he likes him, and Scott is trying to set him up with Heather, who is, in this fic, is Allison's best friend. And Styles is why do you keep trying to set me up with her? You know I'm gay. And he was well, yeah, right now.
Oh my god. Scott would say something like that.
Right? And then it was just Styles, you know, I mean, that's fine for now, but you have a future to think about, and you have to get this family together and just all this stuff, and it just really hit, like, a lot of spots, because I know people who have heard those things. Like, you could tell whoever wrote this has heard those things before. And so, it was just really well done. It was very sweet, and, oh, God, the little resolution at the end, I smiled so hard. And so I linked it in chat. It's a very, very cute. Cole, what you got?
So this is another fic from 2012. I was talking about this in the Discord like a while ago, but like it was something that I like vaguely remembered, and then somebody, I forgot who it was, put the actual like name. It's called Victory Rush, and it's Jackson, Scott, and Styles, and it's great. So like Jackson like seduces Scott, and like while he's seducing Scott, like they're at the back of the bus, like driving from like a championship or whatever.
Oh,
and like while he's like, I think they're trading hand jobs, I think. And then while that's happening, Jackson's like, you know, I really want to, you know, get with Styles.
Oh my
God. Like, don't you want to, like, try out Styles? And then it eventually, like, the next chapter, like, morphs into that whole situation. And it's great.
I forgot about that fic.
And it's by boy_on_strings.
Boys on Strings. They have this other fic that's like a Staxon fic.
Yes.
And they just started updating it after
really?
like years.
Oh my God.
And it's like, it's hate sex turning into like, I'm obsessed with you, to like, I can't get enough of you, to like, we can't be together, and it is everything.
Ooh. On strings.
But I mean, that one sounds good, because I totally see Jackson being like the manipulator in the back of the bus.
I remember
is it
that.
Wicked Mouths?
Yes.
Yes.
It's iconic. You have to read it.
It has like 33 chapters so far.
It was so good.
And I remember that fic too, because I remember reading it and I was like, oh, I wonder if this is ever going to get done. And that's amazing.
Like, after years, I've been following that story for years.
Those are always really fun. I remember I just recently got an update on a fic, and it was like, I know it's been like 2 years. And I was like, I'm happy to see you, babe. I'm happy to see you. Oh, I love it.
Okay, so Night
ahead.
Calls by Coffer Stilinski.
Which one?
I don't think we've probably talked about it. Night Calls?
Well, I think I know that one.
Because I know Coffer Stilinski.
Styles has a boy pussy.
And they're in the bus?
Jack is coming back from Vegas, and they're in the bus.
Yeah.
And then, you know, basically Styles all over. It gets a little hot and wet.
Ooh.
And Derek cannot resist.
Yes! I love when Derek smells it, and he's just like, oh, yeah. Or when Styles does, and he's just like, Derek, what is that? Like, what is that? We were talking about, I love deleted scenes, aka, Elise Volat Pro Piece, whatever her thing is. But I just reread Constantly on the Cusp, and I forgot how much I loved that fic. That's one where Derek is a paramedic and Styles is a cop, and Derek has just recently come back into town, and Styles hits on him, and Derek's like, why do you think I'm gay? And Derek is like, or Styles is like, oh God, not with you. Like, geez, I don't want to have to deal with this crap. And they're kind of at this auction, and Styles is like, I want to deal with this homophobic prick, But then they're like sitting down, sharing a cigarette, and they're drinking from this bottle of Jack. And first, I don't even know how they started like jacking off, but then like as they are, Styles like reaches over, and then he starts touching Derek, and so throughout the fic, you're like, Derek, you're super gay. But it's one of my favorite tropes in fic is the ramp up. I love when they're like, because they do it in No Homo, they do it in, and I try to do it whenever I can. I love when they're like, I'm not gay, you know, this hand job isn't gay, you know, sucking my dick, that's not gay. You know, like, this butt sex isn't gay, marrying you isn't gay, you know, adopting these kids together isn't gay. You know, just like all this stuff. And so I love that, and Constantly on the Cusp has all to the point where they're like, you gotta admit it, dude. Like, you've gotta admit it to you, and you gotta admit it to me, and...
Yeah, like the whole turning the straight guy gay stories have their trashy little place somewhere. But really, what these stories are is not being able to resist your urges, no matter how scared or how much you haven't considered it, and stuff like that. And the fact that something is just so, it drives you so wild that you can't even control yourself. And that is what these fics are, and that's why people love them.
Exactly. What they do well about it is that they say why that person was in the closet for so long, and you get the reasons why Derek has been so reluctant to come out. And it's like, and it's not necessarily understandable, but you understand where he's coming from and why it's ridiculous, but it's just packed in smut. And I'm just like, oh, it's so well done, so good.
And the Derek character lends himself to that so well.
Yes.
Like if you kind of chop him off in certain parts of the season, like it lends itself so well.
Exactly. It's all up in my history. It's like chapter 6, just because I was reading it like crazy, and I was reading it like late at night when I should very much have been asleep. And I was just like, Stacey, go to bed. I'm like, just one more chapter. I love it so much.
I am very disappointed that there are not more fics like this. This one is, it's not just bad wrong, it's just wrong, but somehow makes it hot. It's called I Take What I Want by It's Kind of a Bad Habit, and it's a Matt Daler, Scott McCall fic.
Oh my god, what?
And
I can't.
Matt uses the kanama to, like, basically force Scott into submission.
That sounds amazing.
And it's good. It's only like 5,000 words.
I just saw a Scott Deucalion one, and I was like, that's amazing.
Deucalion is so hard because I have to, like, age him down for it to, like... Because, like, for some reason,
Gideon.
Deucalion looks old, but Gideon was hot.
Yeah.
Because they put Deucalion in, like, grandpa sweaters.
Yeah.
But then, like, what they did to his skin, like, the makeup treatment they did...
It was rough.
They made him look older.
I will say, though, Milky did that sugar baby fic, that sugar daddy fic with Styles and Gerard. And she was cheating on him with Derek. It was so good! It was so good!
I can only do it if it's not supposed to be hot.
Right.
No, I can't even do any, like, I can't. Like the visual alone is traumatizing.
It's rough. It is rough. Oh, I am loving the Weird City fics that are coming out. There's some cute ones. I have one. Go read mine. So far, I'm leading the kudos count. So I'm very happy about that.
I love you. I can't.
And they actually knew about some of the fanfic, but I was almost a little upset that they didn't know about mine. But then I was like, oh, mine is definitely rated E, so they should not know about that. So I was like, okay, I'm fine.
What's your Weird City fic called again?
Do you want grilled cheese? Do you like grilled cheese? And then the one I'm working on now is called Blues Traveler. And so that one's a lot of fun. So this one, it's not really worth the read. It's cute. You know, you could still read it, but it's a Westworld AU. So Derek's an alpha, and his whole thing is that he loves going to Wolf World so that he can go and just, like, mishandle and rough just be really rough with Omegas and know that he could do that. So yeah, so he goes and he's like, ooh, there's this new model of Omega at the bar, and he's like, you know, pale skin and mole dotted and, you know, whiskey brown eyes. And so he grabs him and throws him over his shoulder and takes him upstairs to the brothel and throws it, just has his way with him. And the Omega's just loving it. He's like, yeah, da-da-da-da. Then, you know, like cast him off and he's like, oh, that was good. But he's like, I can't, you know, he left Wolf World and he's like, usually when I leave Wolf World, you know, I leave it behind and I can't seem to get this one out of my mind. And then, like, 9 months later, he gets a knock on the door. And he opens it. And Styles is like, you son of a bitch. He's like, I go to Wolf World to get knotted by an Omega, but knotted by an Alpha without getting pregnant. And then you grab me and take me upstairs. Give me the sex of my life. And I end up getting pregnant with your pups, and then Derek's like, whatever. And then he just grabs him and, like, puts him over his shoulder and then takes him in the bedroom and has his way with him. He's like, you're gonna have my pups anyway, I guess. And it's just so, it's cute. I put it in the chat.
I need the opposite of that fic, and I need Derek going to Westworld because he really needs to get pounded because alphas are still not allowed to get pounded in the real world.
I would like that too.
And I want Styles to be like a robot, like a Westworld bot, and then he escapes Westworld because like the booty was so good.
Ooh, that does sound good. What was
okay,
this?
Last one was a gift to me. I don't speak French for the title, so it's a la Folie. It's by Pan_Dora again.
Yes.
This one was this was actually a gift. It's a steal fic though. There was this post talking about how Tracy the Chimera,
yes,
was probably so hung up on Theo because she was a
yes.
Kanima and Theo was her master. And so my headcanon was, what if when Theo killed her, he became a Kanima, and he went looking for a master in Styles. And so she took something that was supposed to be, like, I know she was, like, aiming for, like, 3,500 words. It is at 21,000 words right now, and she has it listed here that it's going to finish in the next chapter. I don't think it is.
Right.
Because she took it and then wove all of these things where Styles just realizes how horrible Scott was to Derek, how Theo was actually a better alpha than Scott because he may have not done the good things, but he never pretended he was going to.
Right, exactly.
And so it breaks it all down seamlessly. So you don't feel like you're reading meta, but it's just all part of the story, and I am constantly amazed by her works.
That sounds great.
So go read it, guys. It's that one, and her other one that really breaks it down is I think it's like 300,000 words, isn't it?
Oh my god.
Which one? I know it's called Justified or something. Where is it? I'll find it while Cole thinks about his next rec.
I have one. It's another cheating Derek fic by the same. But it has 3 different authors listed.
Oh wow! Oh, it's probably a role play.
What?
It was probably a role play.
Oh, so it's always bottom Derek with the underscores. Ben _ Xavier and
that's my
Icy
boy.
Cryos.
Yeah.
Trios.
Ben Xavier is wild.
But, so, I guess in another fic previous, because this is a continuation, but it's a separate fic, so I have to go figure out where the first part came in. This is the second part that I read. And I guess Derek is going to get, a suit fitted for, a dance, or, a prom, I guess, with Styles. And he gets a call at the night time to go down to get a fitting, and he hooks up with these twinks.
Oh my god.
And, like, while he is, like, in the back room with, like, these two twinks just going at him, Styles comes in, is like, hey, why are you taking so long? And, like, as he's talking to, like, Derek, like, the curtain's only pulled back so, like, Derek's face is out so he can talk to
Oh my
Styles.
god.
But, like, as that's happening, he's still getting fucked by the twins.
Like, he has to.
And Styles is just so oblivious. And it's great. I think I have, like, a problem, though. Because I don't know why I enjoy cheating Derek fics so much. But they're just so fun. They're just so fun to me.
They're so ridiculous. They're always like the like those porn prompts where you see like on Pornhub where like the person will be getting a package from Amazon, they'll open the door and be like and it's like you're clearly
so
getting
over the
banged.
top.
You're
that it's fun. Like it's fun to read.
See, I can't
and also just so great.
Because I get so mad.
My like absolute favorite. Like they're not the ones that I look for.
Mm-hmm.
What I do like is when Styles or Derek cheat on someone to be with each other.
Yes, that I love. Yeah. All day long. All day, like, every day. I was going to say I love Ben Xavier. Shut up, BBS. I love you. And there was something else. Styles finds out. There was something else I was going to wreck, and it was in a different window. I'll think about it later. I just put My Little Omega into the chat. It's kind of a sad one, but it's Derek Peter. It's Dark Peter. He is pimping Derek out to all these like crazy supernatural creatures, and then Styles is like a dragon. And Styles is like way too big. Oh, it's just, but it's cute. It's hopeful. It's very hopeful.
Wait, there was a fic that I read like that.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. What was it?
Your fic made me think of another one. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So, Dirt Core Dreams did this one called, like Alpha Cafe. Alpha Rut Cafe. Something to that extent. And basically the premise is Derek quit his job at the police station. Now, when you're reading this fic, there's not much in the description. So you know that Derek has quit his job at the police station in order to open some sort of business. And you know that this business has something to do with baked goods. But the rest of it isn't quite expressed until they start talking. Thank you, Alpha Apothecary. Thank you, BBS. So as you're reading this fic...
You see, you should be nicer to BBS.
No, he's the worst. I love you, BBS. He's the worst. As you're reading this fic, you're like, how is this going to go? Because Styles has, like, invested his money in it. And then, everybody is, like, waiting for him to open it. But Derek's kind of scared. He's like, are people going to be into this? And, like, what the deal is. And so, you're reading it. And you're like, okay, he's going to open up this coffee shop. Why is this rated E? Like, what's going on? And, it starts going apothecary. You're like, what's going on? All of a sudden, he's naked except for an apron. And then in front of the apron, there's like this like panel so he can take his dick out. And like, literally, he's about to go into Rut. So it's like a Rut cafe. And he's making these baked goods, but he glazes them, quote unquote. And the way he glazes them, like, people reach up under his apron and, like, squeeze his balls so that they can glaze them. And at one point, Paris, like, taps on his buttocks, and then he, like, spreads his buttocks, and then cream that has been, like, sitting in his anus, that, like, comes out.
I can't.
It's so good.
Dude, what is with that? The food and the ass thing? Like, not in this situation. There's some author. It's the one that you always tell me that has, like, different names.
Yes.
Like, food in ass. And I'm like, no. And I'm very happy that he has his own space and that, like, whatever. No, I can't.
Yes. In fic, yes. Outside of fic, never. In fic,
No.
yes.
No. Even in fic, I can't, there's only so much that I can, like, handle. I'm just like, no.
Tori Marie.
Out of someone's ass. No.
Tori Marie said he warmed biscuits beneath his pulsating nutsack. And he it's so good, you guys. It's so good. But so then even throughout it, Styles, so like people are like filling up on Styles, and then he's like filling up on Styles, and then like he's like banging Styles throughout it, and like it's just, and then he's talking about Styles is gonna get pumped up throughout this, and they're making all this money and blah blah blah, and they might even be able to turn a profit and just all this stuff. And so in the second one, near the end, he's like, Derek feels so fulfilled. He doesn't have to go out behind Styles' back anymore. And then it's like, whoa, wait. This just got real. wait, hold on. And so I was like, whoa, wait, where'd this come from? And so he's trying to be coy and not answer no comments. But I was like, wait, you just can't throw this. You just can't make it get real in the middle of the fic. But yeah, it's in a series called Upon Request, but it's part 3 of that series, and part 2 isn't related at all. So definitely go check it out. It is great. Despite Cole's and Philip's protestations.
Okay, so I have a nanny that sends me these fics that are not available on AO3.
Ooh.
And this is a continuation of a fic that was written on AO3 as like a three chapter kind of fic, and it got expanded to like 33 chapters or something like that.
Oh wow!
Anyway, it's CEO Derek with worker Styles, and Styles like starts going to the elevator in the morning at the same time every day to see this guy Derek, and he has no idea who he is. And at one, like after like I think it's like a month or something, Derek just has enough, and when they're alone in the elevator, pounces on Styles and like basically just does him right there in the elevator. So then he goes away, and like Styles is all nervous and like can't function with his day. So then he leaves work and he cuts through this parking garage to like get to the subway or whatever, and boom, he gets pulled into a corner and fucked right in the parking garage.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
What is wait, who?
But it's on
Wait,
Live
Derek?
Journal. It's on Live Journal, right?
Yeah, Derek.
Is it on Live Journal?
I think that's where they're coming from, but they just sent them to me. So the
we might need to put them in the Dropbox or on like a doc.
Mm-hmm.
On Google Docs
and
or
something.
Yes, I was about to start reading this.
So then Styles ends up the next day, like, avoiding the elevator, avoiding everything.
Oh, my God.
And he gets called into the CEO's office. Well, of course, it's Derek. And Styles is like, you! So Derek informs him that he was just about to be fired, so that's why he pulled him up here, because his contract was going to be over, and offers him a contract as his personal assistant.
Oh, my God.
And tells him, but the interview still isn't over. Makes him drop his pants.
So much sexual harassment.
Going. There is so much, like, you know that tingly feeling you get when someone's flirting with you?
Yeah.
The first, 10 chapters, you're just getting that tingly feeling the entire time.
Oh, my God. I love it.
It is addictive.
Oh.
And so far, they're sending it to me chapter by chapter because it seems freaking long. So... I will let y'all know when I get it.
Someone recommended, Ms. Ixie recommended the His Wolf series by Hickaber Hooligan. It's Hales Sandwich, but it's no Hales Sass, so it's just Derek Styles, Peter Styles. But it's going to be a series, it looks like. And yeah, it looks pretty interesting. So I I'm going to...
So I'm looking at the explicit fics, and I'm having sorted by kudos, and literally all of the good plot fic is like the first couple pages of this like list.
Mm.
Like, either we need a rating for like porn,
right,
or like we need a tag.
a tag for like specifically for porn,
like for smut. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, I guess we have the porn. Like what is
the
it?
PWP.
But like hardly anyone uses that.
Yeah, some people do, but usually it's meant for like tongue in cheek. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's like it's just porn with porn. Okay, so is it porn? Is it plot? What plot?
Well, it's supposed to be porn without
both.
plot, but yeah, but then people have been using it as both.
Because I remember it being porn with plot.
Yeah, but it started as porn without plot. Then...
like, I used to use that tag, but then I kind of, like, incorporate at least some kind of plot in, like, smut fics. But, like, so I don't use that tag anymore. Because I feel like if you're just going to just read the tags before you read my fic, and you would know, you would be able to kind of grasp, like, what would be in this.
The one thing I will say is...
But, like, I want to be able to separate, like, your stepfather fic from, like, DILF.
Right.
DILF is a hot fic, but it's super plotty.
It's very plot
Like,
heavy.
it's a novel.
Yeah.
There's, like, a novel, but then, like, they don't even do anything until, like, the last chapter.
Exactly. But DILF was, like, an earlier thing. Kind of like Baking My Way Into Your Heart. Where it was like 19 chapters of story, and then like the last 2 chapters was like, oh, there's some smut. But I remember back in the day that was like everything.
People keep asking me to update my stepfather fic, and I need to find like the motivation.
Yeah.
I said I was going to do it over spring break, and then I got sick, so now I'm sitting here.
It's very hard for me.
We have like an NSFW session where we like came up with like 3 alternate things that could have happened.
That's why it doesn't. I'm not very good. When it comes to whips, I need to finish them on track. Like, in fact, the whip that I have now, it kind of got delayed because of the interviews, but I know I'm probably going to finish it this weekend. Like, I can't do a whip and then start another fic while I still have a whip outstanding. I only have one.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. Well, I only have one whip outstanding now, and that's because I completely hit a roadblock with it. Like, I had a bunch of notes for it, and I have no idea what happened to those notes, and I'm like, I don't remember at all what I wanted to do with it. So, like, I don't know. I just don't know. So, I started reading these these Hale sandwich fics. But this writer kind of dips their toe in the pool of time travel way too much in a way that doesn't quite make sense to me with the characterizations that they give Styles. And so I'm like, I can't really do this. And
time travel is super hard, but there was one fic that I read that's like one of my favorite fics, and like Styles goes back in time to when Derek is, like, with Paige. But, like, instead of falling in love with Paige, he starts falling in love with Styles.
Yeah.
And Styles is like, no, you can't do that. Like, you need to go with Paige. But it's so, like, it's so cute, and I love that fic so much. It is, like, one of the few, I think it's, like, rated teen. But, like, I rarely read, like, teen fics, because it's usually just, like, a bunch of like bubbly stuff and like no good like sex.
One of the ones that I want to write is this one where Peter basically, instead of using his power to like come back as an alpha, he uses it to send Styles back in time to try to fix everything, but he only has enough power for like half of the score, half of the spell. And so Styles is stuck and he has no idea what's going on. He has no idea what's happening. He kind of develops a relationship with young Peter, but he knows that something's off and something just doesn't feel right and something's wrong. And he's like, I'm here, but like, why don't I have a family? You know, like there's just all this stuff that's just, not matching up. And so, you know, he's with Peter, but he's slowly starting to kind of like withdraw and kind of go crazy. And like he's spending all his time with Derek in their treehouse, and Derek's treehouse, because of course Derek's like 8 or 9. And it's just, it's crazy. It's so good though.
I need a resurgence of Necks and Throats fics again.
Necks and
Throats. Someone needs to bring that back. It was so good.
Yeah. No.
Hey, I thought Devil Doll stopped posting fics.
She'll do it every now and again. I think she's in the circuitry. Is she in the circuitry tag? I really liked that series.
I just thought they were all gone.
But there needs to...
Some of them, are they gone?
Oh, no. She's left her stuff up.
Okay.
And Eeyore has too. Let's see. Oh, you should read mine, Carlos. When I See You is a good... Oh, yeah. When I See You is my Derek's Parish Styles. I do like that.
There's that one. There's the Styles is a Camboy and Jordan finds out.
Oh, no, that's the other one. That's not just a Camboy. That's the one that inspired mine. Who wrote that? I'm blanking on the name right now. But he never finished it. I wish he would finish it.
It just updated like a couple months ago, I think.
Really? I think I'm subscribed. I'll have to check it out. From the elbows down. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there are any more real quick.
I love Parrish and Parrish and Styles, Parrish and Derek, Parrish Styles and Derek. It just works.
I think it does too. I like them together a lot. Cole, you got, let's do like 2 more each, and then I think we'll be good. We can be done by 9.
Okay, so it's another crazy one.
Uh-huh.
And it's by Always Bottom Derek and Ben Xavier. And it's called The Auction.
Oh my god!
It is, okay, so Derek is like being auctioned off to like all these different supernatural creatures.
Yep.
And like they're all like, I want to test out the product.
Oh my god.
And so they start like doing all these things with Derek, and like Derek is just getting like messed up by all these different supernatural creatures. And then like it kind of lost me at the end because like this giant like minotaur steps in from like Dragon Age. I don't know what that is. I think it's a video game.
This is one where Peter is auctioning him off, right?
No, I don't think it's Peter.
Oh.
It's just like an elf or something.
Okay.
Like they cast a spell on Derek to like make him like super, super like horny and like submissive.
Okay.
And he's like being auctioned off as like an alpha, like a special alpha.
Uh-huh.
And then like the last chapter I kind of don't mess with because it's like this giant minotaur and it's like kind of graphic and I'm like, no, I'm not really into that. But it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And also kind of just crazy that like all these supernatural creatures like, ooh, I want to touch Derek. And I mean, it's bottom Derek, which is always a blessing.
Mm-hmm. I love bottom Derek. I love any Derek. How about you, Philip? What you got?
Nothing yet.
Here, I'll do mine real quick. It's a short one. I've Not So Harmless Flirting by Revulette. It's actually a Styles Danny one, and it's really only a teen, which I know, surprise, surprise, but it has the most perfectly written kiss scene. It's Styles it's after season 2 when Styles' dad is like, you couldn't possibly be gay dressed like that. And then so Styles is really like, well, I guess I'm not gay. And he stops flirting with Danny. And Danny's like, why'd you stop flirting with me? And he was like, well, I guess I'm not gay. You know, he's like, my dad told me I couldn't be or whatever. And he was like, well, how do you feel? You know, and he's like, well, do you want to kiss me to, you know, see it? He was like, what? And all this other stuff. And so they had this kiss and it is just so lovely. No baby thing. And
see, why couldn't we have had that in the show?
Oh my god, I know. It was, and it was so sweet. And I was just like, this is absolutely lovely. And I just, it made my heart smile. Fascination with the oh my god. Styles trying to have sex with Derek the Minotaur. Everything. Let's see. There's Bastard. Never a Hardship. Oh, there is a girl who's going through all my fics and leaving comments. I love you, girl. Keep going. I love it. Oh my god. But it doesn't really have a lot of smut. But there's this one. It's Talia is the president. Derek is the first son, and he's an Omega. And he has an alpha guard who is Styles. And
oh, yes.
It's everything. It's so good. It's called Never a Hardship by Julie Bean. Oh my god. And then, okay, so one of my favorite things ever, regardless if it's Derek or Styles, I love when an Omega is about to go into heat and they're just going crazy. And the Alpha's like, I have to respect your boundaries. You know, if you were like not in heat, you wouldn't want me to like touch you without consent, all this other stuff. And the Omega's like presenting, like they're butt naked, just presenting and sweating and like, take me now. And they're like, no, I can't. And they're like, you don't want me. And he's like, no, it's not that I want you. I just want to do it right. And and so there's this fic, and then there's one where Derek had to go into a rut, and he ended up going to Styles for help. And then Styles ended up having like the safe room in his attic. But then Scott was an alpha, and he caught the scent, and he's like, you got an unmated Omega in there? He's like, what's in there? What's in there? You know, he's like, and so he kept trying to break in. And then at one point, like, Styles had to take his bat and like bash Scott upside the head so he attack Derek. Oh, it's so good. So yeah, it was fantastic. Oh yes, that is the one, Glitter. It's so good. Bodyguard Styles. So it's so yum. What you got? Who's next? Whoever wants to go.
I think I'm all out of fics.
Yeah,
I'm never out of
deep
fics
in there. I think I covered every pairing.
Oh, dang it. And we never... Okay, so next fic cast we can do Stilinski twins, Hale twins, and clones. Because that could be its own cast, because I have a bunch of those too. Ooh, god dang. I just ran across one that says Alpha Pussy, and it says Style loves eating Derek out. He loves the way his alpha rides under his tongue. It's his favorite way to pass the time. It's my favorite way too, Style.
Get it, Derek. Get it.
Right? Oh god, so good. Derek and Styles moved to New York. What? What's this? What?
Oh, it's this one. Have y'all read Pleasure and Shame by Gravity Did It?
I do know Gravity did it. What's it called? Or what's it about?
It's first one's Peter and Pauline as Styles finds a special wolf bane, and so him and Derek are going at it, and Peter takes advantage.
Oh no!
Of the fact that they're going at it.
Yes, I think I can't remember, but ooh, that sounds great. No! Tori Marie! Y'all are killing me. Oh my goodness. And how dare he just leave? That's so funny. Yo, that's the one thing about Steeders. God bless them. They love their angst. I can't take it.
Steeder is so good.
Steeder is great, but they love
Peter is always just like I can't really do like Peter being all sweet and like nice.
No,
like,
yeah.
He's an
I need
asshole.
him to be a little bit smarmy. Just a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
and Styles also has to kind of like
have a little edge.
Like combat that. Like there are some fics where like Peter's like really, really an asshole, and then Styles is just like very like, oh, okay, like really just like soft and like submissive, and like it's kind of a little too out of character. Mm-hmm. Like I need Styles to also like check Peter.
Yeah.
But then they also hate each other, but then they also like really, really are like super attracted to each other. Those are the best Steeder fics.
Exactly.
The Steeder fandom really knows how to do it, like really, really well.
I love it too. Yes, and I love Studer as Murder Husbands. I love Studer as Murder Husbands. That is so much fun to me. Oh my god. All right, I think we are good. You guys have some good fics to read between cheating fics and smutty nonsense and lots of Stio and Corey who.
So much Stio. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was great.
I just started using them and they're all Stio.
That is hilarious. But I love it. I would say this is for all the fics, so it's all great. We got some Steeder in there. We got some Hales sass. We got some Hales sandwich.
We got some Boy Pussy Derek.
Yeah. Oh my god. Love Boy Pussy Derek. There was only like 4 or 5 fics, but I will read them. Oh, and then I forgot about panties, Derek. That's a whole nother thing when like Derek is reaching for something and Styles notice he has panties on. He's like, "Whoa, hey there, hey there, ho there."
The Naked in School series, is that not Talani?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, okay.
How are there commercials? Come on, get it together, Spreaker. Why was it? Ooh, did we go past the? No, I'm on a pro account. Are you kidding?
Oh, so they missed part of what we were saying?
Yeah, but I got it. I have it on the other thing, so I'll release it.
Okay. Sorry,
you guys. But don't worry. It will be in the full cast. All right, you guys. Say goodnight, Philip.
Good night, everybody.
Say goodnight, Cole.
Good night, guys.
Yay! Thanks for coming on, and we will talk to you guys later. I guess it's still pretty early. I'm gonna get everybody listen to, it went to the Charlie interview. Yay! Everybody listen to the interview with Charlie Sanders. He was fantastic. Cole, did you see, that, the ad-lib where it's like, Booze, your dad is a big man. That was Dylan. And I was like, you are so bisexual, Dylan O'Brien. It's just...
Dylan is always putting in such good extra work.
He is. Ugh.
Like, bless him.
Yeah, and then I talked later with another actor that worked with him, and he basically says the same thing. He was like, his ad-libs were fantastic. We just ad-libbed the whole time. And I was just like, I cannot wait. I just love it so much. So, I love it, love it, love it. All right, you guys. I will talk to you later. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.